iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we got a good one at stake. We have the Horsepower Happenings 100 here at the Eldora Speedway. Some cash prizes up for grabs. We'll be going over those a little bit later when it comes around for feature time, but right now we are towards the end of practice, about a minute left here at the Eldora Speedway, and then these drivers getting ready to do their group qualifying. Of course, those being 3 cars at a time, getting ready to do battle here. And then that sets the heat race lineups. It's either top 4 with the almost 30 cars we have here tonight on the premise. We may have only 2 locking in from the heat races, depending on how many we have, folks. As you can see, a very cloudy day here at Eldora. The track is going to be very tacky, very moist. And we're going to have to see how that plays into effect. There's absolutely no sunlight. We get a little bit of sunlight breaking through the clouds right now, but this track very dark here for midday here at Eldora in Ohio as we get ready to rock and roll in the last 30 seconds here of practice. Of course, week number 1, we saw Trevor Mattingly in the 13T go down to victory lane. And then last week, we saw newcomer Zach Nichols park it down in victory lane. He'll have to start at the back of the field here tonight for the big 100-lapper. Will he have enough to bring it on back? We'll find out here by race time as we now get ready to head over to our group qualifying. Group number 1 looking like Nick Alone, Henry Smith, and Chuck Darling here in group number 1. So we'll keep an eye out for these drivers to roll on the speedway here. As we now head over to our qualifying session and wait for our first cars to roll out on the speedway. It looks like we got the 69 machine of Nicholas Alone here, getting ready to fire up that B69 Longhorn machine as he gets up to speed here. First car down the backstretch, winding this thing on up. As you can see, track crews out here re-prepping the track here for qualifying. And off at turn number 4, the 69 machine is on the clock. I love it there in the YouTube chat lands. Already some people cheering on their favorite drivers. We got a Cam Tucker fan out there. He's hoping for another good night from that 53 machine. As Nicholas Alone, lap number 1 in the books. He will throw down a 15.61 and get a piece of the wall here in 3 and 4. That will disallow this lap. He'll try and get things under fire here, but now we look at the 7S. That is Henry Smith right now, second quick at the moment. He'll try and improve here on lap number 2, as he has the Henry Motorsports, part of the, I believe, the Hot Lap Heroes gang. I think that's on the hood there, so he's part of that very large crew. And the last car in this first group of 3 is the 88 Northside Towing Howe Enterprise Marf. It's Chuck Darling out here. Of course, a lot of sponsors, one being tonight's main sponsor of tonight's race for the Horsepower Happenings 100 here at Eldora. As we now get group number 2 rolling out on the speedway. We got the first car here. It's the 121 of Brandon Bolin. Bolin here off at turn number 4. The 124 is on the clock. Bolin, of course, from Kentucky out here. Or sorry, Kansas. As he knows how to cut his teeth on the dirt. He's looking for, he last week had an up and down race. He's looking for a better run here tonight. And right now, Brandon Bolin puts down a 15.71. Once again, another car in the wall. Sorry, a 15.54. We got Bolton and Bowen out here. So Brandon Bolin, quick time with that first lap. Second lap gets a piece of the wall. That won't allow this lap. As we now look to the man who's been on the podium so far of the first 2 races. We'll see if he can make it 3 in a row. It is the flying Jacob Laster in the 151. He's part of the Hot Lap Heroes gang, and that group is strong, I tell you what, especially on this dirt side. As our final car in this group, he puts a P number 4, is Drew Bowen in the 088 machine. As we now get our next group looking like the following: Blake Steele, Joseph Grandy, and Brandon Marlowe. As we now get Brandon Marlowe out on the track. He's getting this 37 Hot Lap Heroes machine. Like I said, another one part of the gang out here. He's getting that thing up to speed, and he's on the clock. As you guys can tell, running this top side, they see that it's worn on off enough that they keep their foot in it, just lifting ever so slightly in the corners. Brandon Marlowe trying to go a little bit shorter around the track here in 3 and 4. Brandon Marlowe, lap number 1, is for 4th quick at the moment. He puts down a 15.68. These times right on top of each other here at the moment. All these cars very close in the qualifying order. Also out on the speedway making his laps is Blake Steele. I like to call him Mr. Consistent. He has found himself in the top 5 by the end of the race every single night so far. And the end of last season as well, Blake Steele coming around. You know, he can't quite, seems like, get the speed out and qualifying by it. But by the end of this race, folks, you keep an eye on that 11 car. He will charge to the front. And the other car out in this group was the 518 of Joseph Grandy. He had himself a solid week last week, just missing out at the podium. So he's looking for that first podium of the season. Finishes 4th last week. He's hoping to turn it on around here tonight. As our next group, as we got our next group out on the track, the first car we look at is Bobby Mattingly, Trevor Mattingly's uncle out here. This car, a lot of speed. He showed a lot in Volusia, but had to start from the transfer race his way into the field, and then go from there. As Bobby Mattingly hoping to start a lot better here this week. He goes P number 2, a hundredth off of quick time. So Mattingly is on the loud pedal here in the 3M. Also out in this group is the 51 of Ron the Hitman Hart in the Area 51 machine. This thing, he's trying to get his setup dialed in. He was making some big time swings in the pit lane here before this race. He's trying a lot of different steering stuff, trying to make this car work on the dirt side of things. Also the final car in this group, he goes P number 3 with a lot of speed. He was quick time in practice. That is Trevor Landrum in the 18. You got to keep an eye on this driver here tonight. Trevor showing a lot of speed, and he might be one of the favorites to dethrone Laster at this track. Now in our next group, we have the man himself, Tanner Tallarico, in the Sunoco number 1 machine. He's getting that thing up to speed. and getting ready to go on the clock. Tallarico just getting the sponsorship from the Sunoco here in Cutlerville, Michigan. He's happy to rep their colors. A sweet paint scheme. Tanner Tallarico doing his own paints and having some fun at it. He does an awesome job. If he has the free time and you're looking for some paints, you know, we got a lot of great painters in this booth. As lap number 1, Tallarico goes P number 7 with a 15.66. Also in this group is the X505 machine of Eric Lake. He's got race 1 on the car. S&S Auto Parts. Eric Lake, one of the best to do it here in Michigan, especially in those dirt street stocks. But he gets the wall here in 1 and 2. That will disallow this lap, so he's going to try and find some more time. Also in this group is the red, white, and blue machine of the 38 machine of Dave Payton. Payton right now 14th quick, not the qualifying effort he wanted. Payton not really figuring out these cars this season. I know if a lot of the cars got faster around him or if Payton's struggling in qualifying, but the qualifying struggles continue for the ASRC 38 machine. Alrighty, folks, I hear the bells are playing, and it's this guy rolling out on the speedway. Trevor Mattingly gonna go here for a quick time off of turn number 4. The 13T is on the clock. Mattingly highest in the corner in 1 and 2 to keep it out of the wall. He'll go to the middle line here in 3 and 4. Very low down on the speedway. He's trying to go the shortest distance around. Will it be enough? Trevor Mattingly, lap number 1, only P number 3. I say it like that's not good. That is very good. A 15.58 lap number 1 from Mattingly. So Mattingly looking to improve here on lap number 2. Also out on this track is the double OH machine of Tanner Hutchins. He's rocking this pink scheme and doing it well. Hutchins picking up a win in our last season. He's looking for another win sometime this season. He's currently 10th quick right now with a 15.17. He's looking for a little bit more speed. Part of that Mattingly crew, as also we have a Hot Lap Heroes car. It seems like won almost every group. That is the 9 machine of Dane Lloyd, who puts a P number 13 with a 15.73. As we get our next car out on the track, and it's another painter out here. FMS Rapid Graphics there on the hood. It is Aaron Kirby and the number 91 machine. He's got the anytime on the quarter panel. New scheme here tonight with the orange, teal, and white. Of course, T-Mat Speed Chop on the car to make that thing as quick as it is, as Aaron Kirby on the clock as he heads through 3 and 4. Kirby here on his first time lap. We'll see where he can go here as Aaron Kirby puts it down with a 15.80, so not net lap number 1 that he wanted. Kirby looking for a lot more speed here by the end of this one. Also out here, one of our bigger, let's say, pavement drivers trying out the dirt here tonight. He saw some money on the line. He wanted to join the fun. That is the 35 machine of Hayden Swank right here with the iRacing machine. Swank trying it, the dirt on out. He knows it's not his strong suit, but he's willing to learn, and that's what he's going to do here tonight. He's going to try and make his way into the show as he goes P number 20. And who goes 21st is the 78 machine of Michael Guerin. Guerin right now with a 16.08. So Guerin going to have his work cut out for him. Luckily, he got all the mechanical issues figured out, I think, on that PC. So we should have him for the rest of the season. Very excited to see how Guerin's season plays on out here as he brings that thing down pit side. And we now head to the 81 machine of Tristan Perry. He's on the clock here, folks, as he heads through turns 1 and 2. He's a little out of shape, folks. You saw that car rocking and rolling. This track already getting a little ruddy, getting a little bit worn. And we're not even done with qualifying yet, so this track going to be changing a lot here as the sun continues to come out more and more. Tristan Perry, lap number 1, 16.03. We'll see if he can improve on that. One car very quick. That's the 22 or the 45 on the car. That is Zach Nichols with the Corrigan oil and all the other great sponsors on that car. He saw that he didn't have his own paint scheme last week, so he comes out, does his own wrap, and I tell you what, it looks sweet out here. As man, I got to check out that car up close and personal, because that is a A very nice red. You don't see cars like that. That 45 shining. Zach Nichols, P number 2 here in qualifying. Also in this group is the 07 machine of Mark Mitchell. Mark Mitchell, sponsored by Marco's Moose Ranch, Cale Finley Racing. And that you can find the number there on the screen. So Mitchell goes P22, not the lap he wanted. I know some people were cheering this guy on before we even got into qualifying. It's the 53 machine of Cam Tucker out here on the clock. Tucker here in lap number 1. And Zach Nichols showed that there is some speed still left in the track. He puts it up to P number 2. It seemed like most drivers falling around midfield thinking that this track may be getting worn, but Nichols proving us all wrong. He goes P number 2, so there's still some speed left in the Eldora Speedway as qualifying starts to come to an end. Also out in this group is the 27 machine of Cade Gailey, that red fire truck red, number 27 machine. Can't miss it out on the track. He's currently 23rd quick here at the moment as Gailey tries to find a little bit more speed. And then the other car in this group, he sits P24, another red and black car. It is Zach Rush in that sweet looking 82 machine as he wraps up qualifying. He will be his best time at 15.90 as we get ready here for our final group. The first car getting up to speed is the Hoffmanator. It's Stephen Hoffman. We got some cool updates from Hoffman. He's ready to go racing in real life. Finally got his dirt modified all. It's stickered on up. Got the 86 on there. And the sim, he runs the 23, so must be his 2 favorite numbers as Hoffman has that car ready to go. But he gets a piece of the wall down the backstretch. That won't allow this time, so Hoffman's going to have to re-rack, restack, and try it again here on this lap. Also in this group is the 111 machine of Clay Atwood. We're going to keep an eye on Hoffman here, see what he can do. I think he might have got the wall again here, as that would be a heartbreak for Hoffman. Yeah, still no lap from the 23 machine, as Clay Atwood also out on the track. Part of that Hot Lap Heroes machine. He's shown a lot of improvement on the pavement side. We got to see him on the Tuesday nights, and I tell you what, he shows a lot of speed at the 1.5 miles, but Atwood trying to figure out the dirt as he's good for only 28th quick, as Hoffman does jump on up, and one car not making the call for qualifying. It is the 12 of Dow Bolin. As that would do it here, folks, for qualifying. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Got to see your favorite driver out on track, but Brandon Bolin in the 124 machine picks up quick time here for race number 3 for the Hot Lap Heroes 100 at Eldora. Alrighty, folks, heading over to our start of our heat race number 1. Brandon Bolin with the quick time will lead us to green in the 124 machine. Starting to his outside is Trevor Landrum in the 18. Row number 2 being made up of Tanner Tallarico in the 1 down low with Drew Bowen in the 088 up top. Row number 3, Cam Tucker in the 53 with Chuck Darling in the 88 in 6th. Then the final row being made up of Zach Rush in the 82, and starting shotgun on heat race number 1 is the 78 of Michael Guerin. As these drivers getting ready to do battle here for 8 laps here for heat race number 1. Top 4 locking themselves into the main event, so we'll have to keep an eye on that for that transfer spot. It looks like one car not making the call. That is Drew Bowen. So 7 cars to get 4 spots. We'll see who ends up going home and who locks themselves. Well, I shouldn't say going home just yet, as they do have a chance to make their way into the B main. But going to the B main and who locks himself into the main event, we'll find out here in just a moment here. As we get ready here for 8 laps here for these heat races. Brandon Bolton, quick time in the 124. He's getting ready to lead us down to green. He jumps on the lap battle early, and we go green flag racing here for heat race number 1 for the Horsepower Happenings 100 here at Eldora. Bolton leads the way in. He slides all the way up to the wall. Landrum now looking to the left rear for the race lead. It's very close for the race lead here as Cam Tucker already charges very quickly into a transfer spot. Michael Guerin from the back trying to go to the front. He's already up into P number 5 after one lap. And Tanner Tallarico looking to the left rear of the 18 machine, thinks better of it. So single filed on out here in a hurry for the top 4. These guys trying to ride around for the most part, know that they could at least be safe at the moment. As Cam Tucker almost gets a piece of the wall there in 1 and 2. He's all over the back bumper there of Tallarico. Further on back, they're battling 3 cars for that 5th position as now Tucker to the inside of Tallarico. That's the battle for 3rd as these guys for 5th were, man, throwing some slide jobs in 3 and 4, but looks like they have strung on out as Guerin has some right side damage to that car, but Brandon Bolton trying to check on out here in heat race number 1. Almost a half-second lead over the rest of the field here. This time by, they will see 3 laps to go as Cam Tucker gets a big piece of the wall in 3 and 4. You see the right rear quarter panel bent on in on that car. He's trying to use up all the racing lane here that he can. He's up on the cushion already in heat race number 1. Popsicle sticks up in the air here for heat race number 1. Brandon Bolton leading the way over Trevor Landrum in 2nd. Tanner Tallarico 4th. Last car in the transfer spot is Cam Tucker in that 53 machine. White flag out for these drivers here. Bolton leading the way. Chuck Darling still in the 5th position. Not quite going to be enough unless something major happens out in front. But off at turn number 4, the field will come. It'll be Brandon Bolton in the 124 machine picking up heat race number 1 win. Trevor Landrum in 2nd. Tanner Tallarico in 3rd. And Cam Tucker in 4th. That rounds out the transfer spots as we wrap up a green to checkered heat race number 1. As we now head down to get ready for our 2nd heat race of the night. We have Zach Nichols in that 22 or 45 on the car leading us to green. Nick Olone in the 69 will start outside pole. Row number 2 being made up of Eric Lake in the X5 down low with Dane Lloyd in the 9 up top. Row number 3, Blake Steele in the 11 starting in 5th. 6 going to Aaron Kirby in the 91. Mark Mitchell in the 07 will start 7th. And Dal Bolin in the 12 machine, who looks like will not make the call, would have started 8th. So once again, a 7-car field here to do battle for those top 4 spots. As I got to get an up-close shot of this 45 machine now that he's not up to speed. Check out these sponsors on the car. As he does have his Twitch there on the back. You can find him at Zach Nichols on Twitch. I still got to figure out what his deck says on that right side, but this time by at the start finish line, we get the 1 to go signal. So the next time by, these drivers getting ready to go. Green flag race in action for heat race number 2 of the night. Top 4 locking themselves in after these 8 laps. Through turns number 3 and 4, the field will come. iRacers pace truck makes the turn off of pit road, and Zach Nichols on the loud pedal here. We go green flag race in action here for heat race number 2. These guys on these inside lines not wasting any sort of time. Eric Lake all over the back bumper of Nicholas Sloan. 3 wide behind him here in heat race number 2 of the night. Blake Steele working the bottom. Aaron Kirby stuck in the middle of the sandwich, and Dane Lloyd up top. As Kirby able to get the run, he'll drive it down to this inside line. Dane Lloyd looking for any sort of opportunity. Thought about sticking it in the middle between Lake and Kirby. These guys racing their tails off to keep in this transfer spot. Right now, Lloyd has it just by a little bit, but has Aaron Kirby right there to his inside. Blake Steele now up top. They make contact down the backstretch. Blake Steele hard in the outside wall. Looks like only the right rear quarter panel, though, so he's able to keep that car momentum, but yeah, no, that driver a little bit heated in that car as out front Zach Nichols pulling on away from Nicholas Alone, who set sail from this battle here but the battle for the transfer spot far from or over. Dan Lloyd first car out, Eric Kirby last car in, and Eric Lake in no safe spot there at the moment. Already halfway down in heat race number 2, and these drivers, you could throw a blanket over them. These guys are right on top of each other here at the moment. Three of them up to the top side. That leaves Lloyd down to dry, down low. He will jump up to this top lane and try and make something happen, but Blake Steele needs to make something happen here in a hurry. Popsicle sticks up in the line. 2 laps to go. Kirby's gonna try and move on Eric Lake. They go side by side. Could this open up the top side to Blake Steele? We'll find out here in a lap and a half as Zach Nichols out in his own island out in front. Same with Alone. This is the battle for the transfer spot here at the moment. Right now Kirby has it, but Blake Steele wants it. He's gonna have a run down the backstretch up top. It's gonna be a drag race at the line here, folks, as Kirby tries a slider, not gonna do it, as Blake Steele ends up blinking on out. He just finishes behind Aaron Kirby, so Kirby last car to lock himself in, as wow, that was a race for that transfer spot. We'll see Blake Steele and Dan Lloyd both in the last chance race there, as it shows you just how hard these drivers are willing to work for locking themselves into this main dance here tonight, as we get ready now to head over to heat race number 3. Bobby Mattingly in the 3M will be leading us to green. Starting to his outside is Brandon Marlowe in the 37. Row number 2 being made up of Tanner Hutchins in the double OH, with Ron the Hitman Hart in the 51 starting in 4th. Dave Payton, first car out of that top 4, starting in 5th. 6 going to Cade Gailey in the 27, and Tristan Perry in the 81 machine, starting shotgun on heat race number 3 here. As these drivers, of course, getting ready for their heat race, checking out, seeing what lines work, and I think if they were paying attention at all, especially to that transfer spot battle, these guys know they got to get up to the top side here sooner than later once they go green flag racing action here in a half a lap. Bobby Mattingly and the 3M leading us to green. Brandon Marlowe looking for a good finish. Didn't have the finish he won last weekend. Week number 1 was on the podium, so Marlowe hoping for a little bit of cash here tonight with a good finish. And off of turn number 4, heat race number 3 is under the green flag as Bobby Mattingly leads the dive down into turn number 1. He's already to that top side. Marlowe wasting no time to make sure he covers his P's and Q's. He gets to the top side in a hurry. First car down low trying to make it work is the double OH of Tanner Hutchins. Once again, for the transfer spot, you could throw a blanket over him. Right now, Ron Hart currently holds it. Dave Payne almost gets in the left rear of Hart. They also got Cade Gailey right there on the back bumper as well, and that bright red 27 machine. So like I said, folks, these drivers taking notes from heat race number 2. Everyone up against the wall right now. They are already door quarter panel banging it, doing everything against the top side here. They are glued to the cushion here early as one car up on his side and up and over he goes. That is the 38 machine of Dave Payne. Payne, our first yellow here, going all the way to heat race number 3 to get our first yellow as we take a look here on the turn 3 replay and see what happened between the 27 and 38. Looks like Payne sideways in on the corner. Cade Gailey just a little bit straighter, able to carry a little bit more momentum. He just tags the rear end of Payne, and up and over Payne goes, as we'll take a look one more time from the bars of Dave Payne, and you'll see how slight the contact is. Just that little hit was enough to lift up those rear tires off the ground, and then with this back bumper like it is, ramps the wall, and then Dave Payne goes for a long slide on his side to end up fully on over on the lid of the 38 ASRC machine. So Payne will get a minute to try and get back on the speedway and get that car running and rocking and rolling, let's say. but under the first yellow flag here tonight for heat race number 3 between contact with the 27 and 38. Cade Gailey in the 27 did the gentleman rule. He tapped on the roof, said that was my bad. I got it in the back bumper of the 38 machine. So Cade Gailey will start tail end of this restart. And we appreciate the sportsmanship here at the American Sim Racing League. And while I got a minute in the action, can take a breath, I can talk about our sponsor here tonight. That is Horsepower Happenings on all the major podcast forums, Spotify, you name it. Check them out for all the local short track racing action. They do cover, some big headlines, but they mostly cover the Midwest scene. If you want to find out, they do a heck of a job. They keep it really entertaining. It's Zach Heiser and Rich France doing it up there. And I tell you what, it is a good listen if you got some time at work or whatever. Feel like listening to some racing. They put on a great show as the field Delaware double file restarted on up. Bobby Manley out in front. Looks like Brandon Marlowe elects the top lane. We get ready to go back. Green flag racing here in heat race number 4. Mattingly on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag as Tanner Hutchins tries the slider here. Doesn't slide all the way up. I'm kind of surprised because he was definitely clear from Marlowe, but now Marlowe has run down the backstretch. They'll go side by side for that second position. At the moment, Ron Hart still the last car locked into the main show. He has contact for that spot. Him and Tristan Perry make contact. So it's anyone's race now for P number 4. As the 81 and 51 make contact, this opens up the door for Dave Payton here in this ASRC machine. Bobby Manley out in front, but 3 wide here for the transfer spot. This racing is going out, and more contact between the 51 and 81. He gets a piece of the wall big time. Tristan Perry not going to be happy with that, but Dave Payton sneaks one out. He goes from on his lid into the transfer spot. He just got to hold on to it here for the last lap as we're under the white flag here at Eldora for heat race number 3. Bobby Manley off at turn number 4. He picks up the win. Brandon Marlowe second, Tanner Hutchins third, and Dave Payton locks himself into the show. Cade Gailey, Ron Hart, Tristan Perry will have to go to the B main, but Bobby Manley getting the job done. Also, we have a question. How did Cameron do? He locked himself into the show. He finished 4th in his heat race, so he'll start towards the middle of the pack in his race, but he is locked in and we won't see him in the B main. As we now head over to our final heat race of the night. This being led by T-Matt himself. Trevor Mattingly and the 13T will lead us to green. Joseph Grandy and the 518 will start outside pole. Jacob Lassiter in the 151 will start third, with Henry Smith in the 7S, starting in 4th. Stephen Hoffman in the 23 will start 5th. 6th going to Hayden Swank in the 35. And Clay Atwood in the 111 Hot Lap Heroes machine will start shotgun here on heat race number 4. As these drivers getting ready here to go green, they get the 1 to go signal. These officials at Eldora not wasting any sort of time. These guys on top of it. So next time by, these drivers will be going green flag racing for heat race number 4 and the final heat race of the night. Off of turn number 4, the field will come Trevor Mattingly on the loud pedal here. We go green flag racing here in heat race number 4. Mattingly once again wasting no time to get to this top side. One car trying to cross over, that is Joseph Grandy. He somehow keeps a straight, had all sorts of help trying to cross over Laster in 1 and 2. He gets some help from Stephen Hoffman. So Mattingly out front by himself now. the race for the transfer spot. First car out, Stephen Hoffman in the 23 machine, as Jacob Lasser tries to hold back Joseph Grandy, who has Henry Smith right on his back bumper. As both cars get big pieces of the wall. Henry Smith stuck in it. He will lose some time now to that group just a little bit. This opens up the door for Clay Atwood. Atwood not having the qualifying run he hoped for. He's hoping to make a run here in the heat race, already up 2 spots here in the first 3 laps. He's hoping for some more by the end of this one. First car out of the transfer spot is Atwood. We look at as Stephen Hoffman and Joseph Grandy do battle here for the 3rd position. Hoffman knows he needs to get around this 518 machine because that 111's coming in a hurry. He knows if he gets passed by him, he falls out of that transfer spot, so that's why he's trying to race the 518 instead of just riding on along. It's Clay Atwood got a piece of the wall there down the backstretch, and now in 1 and 2, so Atwood flirting with the wall and slowing on up. Contact there for 3rd as Stephen Hoffman gets in the left rear of Joseph Grandy, so these guys not ending their battle whatsoever, as that time by popsicle sticks up in the air for heat race number 4. As here the field will see the white flag, Trevor Manley out in his own island. Laster checked out from this battle. We are currently looking at the best battle on the speedway for the 3rd position. Both drivers locked on in, so they just need no big mistakes. But off of turn number 4, Trevor Manley picks up the win here. Jacob Laster in 2nd, Joseph Grandy 3rd, Stephen Hoffman last car to lock himself in from the heat races. So now we head over to our 13 lap B main, as this is the last chance for the top 6 here in this last chance race to lock themselves into the show. We have 14 cars on deck for this, and we'll run over where each of those 14 cars are starting. Leading the field to green in the north side towing 88 machine is Chuck Darling. Starting to his outside is Blake Steele in the 11. Row number 2 be made up of Cade Gailey down low in the 27 with Clay Atwood and the 111 starting in 4th. 5th will go to Zach Rush in the 82 with Dan Lloyd in the 9 starting in 6th. 7th is Ron Hart in the 51 with Henry Smith in the 7S 8th. 9th is Michael Guerin in the 78 with starting in 10th is Mark Mitchell in the 07. 11th rolling off here tonight is Tristan Perry in the 81 with Hayden Swank starting in the 12th position. We have the Bowen brothers not making the call here for the B main as well. So we have 12 cars out here on the track to do battle for those 6 spots. Dan Lloyd right now, the car to beat, as get up on your feet, folks. It is the wave lap here for the B main. 6 of these cars gonna go home after this here tonight, so this will be the last time you see 6 of these drivers out on track, as next time by these drivers going green flag racing action here for 12 laps here at Eldora Speedway. Chuck Darling leading the field to green. He jumps on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing action here for the last chance race. Darling with a great start. He needs to get up to that top side in a hurry because Blake Steele coming with a big head of steam down the backstretch. Blake Steele knows he needs to lock himself into this main event, keep that top 5 streak alive. Clay Atwood ripping the top side. We saw him do it very well until he got a piece of the wall. He's being very cautious with the wall, but already right against it in that 111 machine. Further on back, Zach Rush trying to make it in the show here. He's battling with Ron Hart right around that 6th position. So right now the battle there, the top 4 checking on out, and then the battle for 6th and final transfer spot rages on as we look at these 2 drivers side by side. Michael Guerin right there as well, trying to make the main event here tonight in that 78 machine. I know he wants it bad, and He's willing to do what it takes to get the job done, as Garen kind of running that middle line here at the moment. As Ron Hart up top, Zach Rush now moves up there. Contact for that transfer spot. Give it to Garen, as now Zach Rush finds himself on the outside looking in. Like I said, folks, I knew Garen wanted it bad, and he showed it there. Wasted no time to try and get around that 82 machine. Garen hoping to put some gap to those cars behind him. Blake Steele has taken over the lead here in this last chance race. He's currently leading the field. Cade Gailey in second. Chuck Darling hanging on to third. Clay Atwood still in the fourth position. Ron Hart in fifth. Michael Guerin, the sixth and final car on the speedway. Zach Rush at the moment trying to figure out some speed. He is currently in seventh. Eighth is Dan Lloyd. And then the battle for the ninth position, Tristan Perry in the 81 machine. Rolling that inside line. He's trying to find some speed and kind of doing it. He's slowly catching the cars in front of him. Now Henry Smith follows him in that 7S. Also in this group is Mark Mitchell and Hayden Swink. These guys almost three wide racing action. The 81 machine almost a 7-car sandwich with the 7S and the 07 between them. As one car big time in the wall in 1 and 2. That is Clay Atwood. Race control watching these drivers, making sure no one kind of puts it up on the wall and just wide opens. Ross Chastain's it. So race control keeping an eye on that here tonight. Some guys already flirting with that, as Clay Atwood leaning hard on that wall. That's opening up the cars behind him. As that time by at the start finish line, popsicle sticks. Now the white felt will come on out one more time here in the B main, as Clay Atwood goes from that third position all the way to the last transfer car, as he currently hangs on his sixth. Luckily a big gap here behind him, but battle for the B main win. Off of turn number 4, it will be Blake Steele by a car. He'll pick up the win. Cade Gailey second, Chuck Darling third, Ron Hart fourth, Michael Guerin fifth, Clay Atwood sixth, Dan Lloyd seventh, Zach Rush eighth, Tristan Perry ninth, Henry Smith 10th, Mark Mitchell 11th, and 12th and last is Hayden Swank. So those bottom 6 not making the show, as we take a look here and check out the cool stuff coming here tonight for this main event. First place getting 25 cold hard cash dollars, second going to $20, third 15, fourth is 10, and fifth going $5. Of course, there's some money incentives on the line with the hard chargers, last car on the lead lap, and the fastest cars. So that is the cool stuff these drivers get to race for this 100 laps here at the Eldora Speedway. One driver we got to take a see if we can get a word with. That is the 11 machine of Blake Steele. Steele was our B main winner, so we'll see if we can get him in the booth to chat with us here in just 1 second, because first we gotta go to our commercial to promote our Wednesday series. Be sure to tune in that on the American Sim Racing Club. That is our Scrambler series. Sorry about that, folks. We actually got the wrong information from production. It was the Next Gen series that you can find on Tuesday nights. Of course, we got our Wednesday night series, but the driver we want to talk to here real quick is the 11 machine of Blake Steele. Blake, you got a copy of Spread the Jet here in the booth?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Alrighty, Blake, you pick up the last chance race, and I've been saying it each broadcast, you've been making it true. You find your strut in the main event. You seem like by the end of the race, you're in the top 5. I mean, tell us how you do it. It's got to be a little frustrating, though, starting as deep in the field as you are each and every week, it almost seems like.
Yeah, we had a little trouble in the heat race. I was trying to make it work, trying to gather it back up, but never had enough time. But I just can't get qualifying figured out. But I seem to do better in the slick than I do in the wet.
Yeah, Blake,
I take after my dad in qualifying. So
there you go, Blake. Cause yeah, I tell you what, you turn it up to 11, let's say during the race. You figure out stuff that no other driver can. You drive it through where no cars are at, and I tell you what, you make your work by the end of the race. Like I was saying, the last 2 weeks in the top 5. By I swear, it seems like you start outside at least the top 15. That is very impressive, Blake. Tell us how you do it.
you just gotta stay consistent with your line and try to not get into too many mistakes that hurt you during the race, and take advantages of other people's mistakes and try to make moves.
Yeah, that's a key. When you smell blood, you got to pounce, and that you're really good at, Blake. I tell you what, if we had the pass encounter in this series, I think you'd be the leader of that because you have passed a lot of cars in these races. But before we let you go and continue practicing, warming up these cars for this main event, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on this 11 car.
They're TW Lawn Care, Lazy Hog Barbecue, Buford Racing, Candy's Bail Bonds, Extreme Concepts, BSR Graphics, Maniac Racing Engines, everybody at ARC for putting on the race, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Blake. Jeez, it's going to be a long night for me. You have yourself a great race, and best of luck to you here for this 100-lapper.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks, that was our B-main winner, Blake Steele, coming in the booth, giving us a word. And I tell you what, folks, he's got a long road ahead of him, but luckily a lot of time to bring that 11 car back to that top 5 as he will start P number 17 in the main event and try and get up to that top 5 in 100 laps as we get ready now for our horsepower happenings 100 here at the world's greatest dirt track, Eldora Speedway. We go now from the back to the front, starting in P. Excuse me, let's get it right up on screen. Starting on the front row is the 124 machine of Brandon Bolton. He will be leading the field to the green flag here tonight. Zach Nichols in the 22 or the 45 on the car should be starting in second. But since he won last week, he'll go to the back of the grid, so that will move up everyone in that outside lane and gives Trevor Mattingly a front row start. Row number 2, Bobby Mattingly and Trevor Mattingly. It's the Mattingly row for the second row here tonight. Starting in the 5th position is Trevor Landrum in the 18, with Nicholas Alone in the 69, starting in 6th. 7th is Brandon Marlowe in the 37, with Jacob Laster in the 8th position. 9th going to Tanner Tallarico in the 1 with Eric Lake in the X5, rounding out the top 10. 11th is Tanner Hutchins here in the double OH with Joseph Grandy in the 518, starting in 12th. 13th is Cam Tucker in the 53 with Aaron Kirby in the 91, starting in 14th. 15th will be Dave Payne in the 38 and Stephen Hoffman in the 23, starting in 16th. Then we head to our last chance drivers advance, and Blake Steele in the 11 will start 17th. Cade Gailey in the 27, 18th, 19th, Chuck Darling in the 88, Ron Hart in the 51, starting in 20th. Then the final row here tonight, Michael Guerin in the 78 will start 21st, and 22nd is Clay Atwood. As these drivers get all situated here, it is everyone's favorite time. Get up on your feet, folks. Get up, get on up. It's the wave lap, and it's the 4 wide salute here at the Eldora Speedway. These drivers putting on the show for us to enjoy, and of course, we can't do it with all you viewers tuning on in here tonight. So you wanted the best, you got the best. the often imitated, never duplicated. It's the greatest show on the virtual dirt. It's the ASRC Pro Late Models 4-wide salute. Let's just take a look here at this field. I mean, this gives me goosebumps here, folks. Alrighty, folks, so we have some sad news with us. One of our diehard league members, Tim Rogers, his dad passed away unexpectedly, so we're going to do a lap of silence here 4-wide for him. So that is, we're going to have a lap of silence for Tim Rogers and his family. As we come back here at the Eldora Speedway, appreciate everyone taking that moment, as that was a unexpected one for that family, and my heart goes out to them. Tim Rogers, a very good guy. As we get ready now to go green flag racing for these 100 laps, Brandon Bolton in the 124 will be leading us to greet Trevor Mattingly in the 13T, starting outside front row. So this is going to be a wild one. 100 laps here at the Eldora Speedway, being presented by Horsepower Happenings. As this track will definitely get warm by the end of this one. We'll see a lot of different lines. This track going to be very dark by the end of this one. But now we get ready for the start off at turn number 4. Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal here. We go green flag racing here at Eldora for 100 laps. Bolton leads the charge down into turn number 1. Already 3 wide racing action. 1 car into the wall in 1 and 2. That is Eric Lake losing spots by the dozen down the backstretch. Eric Lake already out of the top 10. He falls back to 13th at the moment. So it shows you how close these cars are. Now another car in the wall in 1 and 2. That is Jacob Laster. As these guys know, they got to keep their car under them for at least the first 50. Any sort of damage to these cars, start affecting them, especially the handling and the speed. And here at Eldora, with the as much hammered down as it is, you can't afford too much of that damage here tonight. So Bolton leading the way over Trevor Mattingly as the rest of the field starts to string on out. You're either in the middle of the track or up against the wall as these drivers hanging out in those spots. Further on back, we get some side-by-side 3 wide racing action. Zach Nichols wasting no time here trying to get through the field as we get our first yellow flag of the night. 1 car up and over. How did this happen? Tanner Tallarico will go to pits, and not sure what happened to him. We're going to try and get the replay here, and as man, it looks like Tanner Tallarico having some sort of technical issues, comes back in front of the field and just upside down he goes. And I'm hearing a little bit of issues from our race leader, Brandon Bolton, having pedal issues in that car. So him and his team trying to figure out if he should come down pit road or try and just tough out this race. He's currently our race leader, so drama here early in this race as we fall under our first yellow flag here on lap number 5 of 100. As I believe this time we're going to give the one of Tanner Talarico that extra lap to get back out on the racing surface if he does elect to do so. So giving him some time to get that car back here on the speedway so his night isn't over just by one flip. Brandon Bolin says, you know what? The pedals aren't that bad. I'm going to stay on out. He doesn't want to give up this race lead, so Bolin will stay out on the racing surface. Trevor Manley in second, Bobby Manley in third, Nicholas Alone in fourth, and Trevor Landrum rounds out the top 5. As it will be the Delaware double file restart here, as it looks like Trevor Manley will elect this inside line, so he will start down low. That moves Bobby Manley, his uncle, up top. Brandon Bolton will restart by himself out in front as the rest of the field slots in their respective lines. We've had 22 cars start tonight's main event. 21 are out there on the racing surface here on lap number 5 as Tanner Talarico does get back out there. So make it 22 and all the cars still out there off of turn number 4. Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal here early. We go back green flag racing action here at Eldora. Bolton running right below the slick. Mattingly a little bit lower, but slides on up off the corner. That opens the door for Bobby Mattingly for that second position. Bobby Mattingly trying to make it stick down there. Trevor Mattingly trying to build up that momentum on the top side here. As almost contact, Trevor Manley have to make big time evasive maneuvers. He gets a piece of the wall and now he enters in to the pack. He gets bounced around as now Trevor Manley 4 wide down the front stretch here at Eldora. Still 4 wide at the moment. These guys right on top of each other. I mean, it doesn't get much closer than that here at Eldora. We know it's wide, but 4 wide, you don't even see that at Talladega. These dirt guys doing it up here tonight at Eldora. These guys right on top of each other. Trevor Landrum gets contact to the back. He goes around. He takes Joseph Grandy with him as they continue to wreck off at turn number 2. That was our first big one of the night, as I believe Chuck Darling and Michael Guerin get a piece of it in the back. Same with Tanner Talarico, just trying to get on the binders. But that started all the way near that 5th position, that battle I was just complimenting between some of the drivers here as we try and figure out, get the replay here on our turn 3 race and replay, as it looks like Trevor Mattingly just gets ever so slightly to the back bumper of the 18 machine. He ends up trying to correct it. That thing shoots hard right with that rear end not being fully square. Collects a big time of the 518 of Joseph Grandy. He will stop in the back. And what happened further in the back? Let's take a look here. For that 88 machine, you'll see the wreck happening on the left side of your screen. And then we got to keep an eye, see what happened further on in the back. Looks like cars trying to make evasive maneuvers. And Chuck Darling just trying to get out of the way. Gets tagged by Guerin just a little bit. And that will spin them on around. As everyone does keep on rolling here at the moment. One car on pit road, though, is the X5 of Eric Lake. He has some pretty good right side quarter panel damage, but nothing to end his night. I don't think he may have got a piece of that, but not quite sure, as we get ready to try and go back green flag race in action here at Eldora. Brandon Bolin by himself up front. Bobby Manley elects the top lane. That moves Nick Alone in the 69 into that 3rd spot down low. as Trevor Manley did claim that yellow, so he'll start all the way at the tail end of this field. 22 cars still out here off of turn number 4. Bolton once again early on the loud pedal. We go back green flag racing action here at Eldora as Alone gets the advantage over Bobby Manley for that second position. Manley right there in third, right on the back bumper of Alone, as Alone got the start he wanted. One car into the wall in the backstretch. That was the 51 of Ron Hart. He's more out of shape on the front stretch, as maybe him and Dave Payne got some contact. Maybe not, as more cars continue to door bang here in this race. These guys throwing it on as Bobby Manley up front goes around. Chuck Darling hard into the outside wall further in the back. Once again, Chuck Darling getting a piece of this as, oh man, folks, we head to our third yellow as we take a look, see what happened. We have Tanner Hutchins in this double OH machine. I think this started further up in front. We got to keep it looking. Oh, Nicholas Alone gets out of shape. He hits the wall. Bobby Manley just tries to avoid him. And look at this, still all sorts out of sorts as, man, Bobby Manley comes back up into the field in front of the field. Blake Steele gets a piece of it. Tanner Hutchins gets to the rear, gets hit in the rear by, I believe, Jacob Lassiter, and that sends him on around as everyone trying to make evasive maneuvers, trying to stay out of the way, as actually it was Aaron Kirby in the back of the double OH machine. That sends him on around, and Chuck Darling with a big hit further in the back. We got to take a look, see what happened to Darling off a turn, pretty much into turn number 3. A lot of cars out of sorts down the backstretch. Not sure if there's maybe fluid or whatnot, as Ron Hart, friendly fire between teammates. And that sends Chuck Darling hard into that outside wall. As, man, that was our first big one of the night. That involved a lot of cars getting damaged, as I think our only car with no quarter panel damage or anything is our race leader, Brandon Bolton. As we are under our third yellow flag here of the night. We're on lap 12 of 100 here at Eldora. Brandon Bolton leading all the early stages laps so far, but now has some new drivers behind him. Now it's Alone and Marlowe off of turn number 4. Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal again. We try and go back green flag racing action here at Eldora. Marlowe finding some grip up top. He's trying to bring Jacob Laster with him. Laster has the run too, so make it those two up into the top. And where has this guy come from? Zach Nichols almost into the top 5 already. Zach Nichols making this inside work, keeping that 45 car clean, and he is charging to the front. Zach Nichols, a man on the mission. You know, we talk about the skills of Trevor Manley. Zach Nichols has the same caliber. He is already up into the top 5 here before lap 15, as contact there for the 4th spot. Nicholas Alone and Jacob Laster get into it as they now throw slide jobs between each other. Zach Nichols hanging on this inside line saying, yeah, you guys keep on battling that hard in front of me. I'm just going to run my own line down low and keep on clicking off the laps. One car hard in the wall down the backstretch. That is Ron Hart. He will go up and over down the backstretch and end up on his lid, as that will bring out our 4th yellow flag of the night as Ron Hart goes up and over. We saw him all out of sorts down the backstretch as we try and figure out what happened to this 53 car. You see 4 wide racing action here once again. Cade Gailey and Ron Hart, make contact, more contact. That sends Ron Hart up in the wall. He climbs the wall and then tries to get off it, and Joseph Grandy, nowhere to go, launches that 51 machine up and over on the lid. So Ron Hart will now have to wait to go back to tow. As, man, I tell you what, folks, these guys put on a show. There's 3-4 battles all over the speedway here tonight, and it's only lap number 16 of 100. These drivers having a long way to go by the end of this one. as we do the extra pace lap here at the moment, trying to give time to Ron Hart to get back out there. But at the moment, the biggest mover so far is Blake Steele, that number 11 machine, looking very sporty. He's up in the top 10 now. He finds himself in the 8th position. So Blake Steele right now, biggest mover award. He's in that money, but he's still looking to get up to that top 5. He's heading in the right direction, folks. And like I said, pre-race talking to him, he is impressive when it comes race time. That 11 machine always seems to be heading in the right direction. As this time by, we'll get the white flag here. Race control says, until you guys can get it figured out, we're going single file. So we'll have a long snake of cars single file here at Eldora Speedway. By the time they reach the backstretch, we still have cars in turns 1 and 2. I mean, look at this line of cars. Let's see if we can get a good shot from back here. I mean, these cars all throughout the speedway, a whole straightaway long of cars single filed. As the only car still not out there is Tanner Talarico and Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal here. We go to green flag racing action. We check out the view from the stands. As we sit in turns number 1, now we head to the stands in 3 and 4, checking out the battles here on the speedway. Yeah, Steven, you know, you got a point. Zach Nichols has been the biggest mover, but for that money, that sadly goes to where he started. So Zach Nichols supposedly started in the 2nd position, so Nichols not eligible for that biggest mover, but he's up into the money already. He's in the 5th position. He's got the $5, and he's looking for more. As if he does end up winning this, folks, he gets the shotgun bonus driver points, which is 10 points, for coming from the back to the front. And Zach Nichols looks like he might have a good chance at that. As contact in front of him, he splits the gap, and wow, that was evasive driving from Zach Nichols. He finds an opening where no one else could. I mean, we got to ride on board with Zach Nichols for that one, as they wreck right in front of him, and he drives through the smoke. He cold trickles it and gets through there cleanly. We got to ride on board with Zach Nichols. The contact for the caution coming in front of him between Nicholas alone and Jacob Laster. And look at the C's part right for Zach Nichols. I mean, man, that doesn't get much better than that for the driver in now 3rd position. Zach Nichols moving on up. Brandon Bolton's got to be checking his mirror. He knows Trevor Manley deep in this field still. He's hanging around the 10th position at the moment. But now Zach Nichols up into 3rd, and he's not done yet. I mean, before even a quarter of the way into this race, past most of the field. That is very impressive and shows the skills this kid has. As once again, folks, we try a single file restart. Race control says you guys better get your act together, and we'll let you run it double file. But off of turn number 4, Brandon Bolton once again on the loud pedal early. We go back to green flag racing action here at Eldora. We take a look at almost some 3 wide racing action off of turn number 2. Cam Tucker, he's making his way through the field. He is up 8 positions from where he started. So Cam Tucker, another driver heading in the right direction. He currently finds himself in the money. He's in P number 5 here on lap 21. Looks like most drivers up against this top side. You can see the track starting to slick on out in the middle. That lane starting to go away as most drivers now head up against the wall here at the moment. Another driver making his way up through the field is the 23 machine of Stephen Hoffman. Hoffman currently finds himself in the battle for the 6th position here at Eldora. And look who's coming on back through. Trevor Manley taking the claim during that second yellow. He's coming back on up through this field. He's back up to the 9th position here. Mattingly, one of the few cars down low, now 3 wide. Him and Hoffman make contact off of turn number 4. Hoffman goes back up to the top, and whoo, Mattingly, it doesn't get much closer than that. He slides up right to the door of Blake Steele. These guys doing battle, but up front, it's quiet for Bolton. He's got about a half a second lead over Brandon Marlowe in second. Zach Nichols hanging on to third. He's ripping this top side, folks. Jacob Laster hanging on to fourth. Cam Tucker rounds out the top 5 here on lap 26. You look back here as this battle continues, as Mattingly now goes to the inside of Trevor Landrum. He tries to get 2 for 1 in the corner. He slide jobs Stephen Hoffman as well. Hoffman will do the crossover and give a slider right back to the 13T here in 1 and 2. Hoffman got a great run off the corner, but Laster says you can run the middle. I'll still slide you all the way down low, as Mattingly now might have this spot. Hoffman's going to have to throw a big slider, and he does. Mattingly will cut that car low and slide right in front of him. Give P number 6 now to Trevor Mattingly as he now tries to catch Cameron Tucker. Battle for second here. Brandon Marlowe under fire from Zach Nichols. Nichols on a mission up in this top lane. I mean, he is hooked up like no other. We jump on board with our second place driver, see what he's doing. I mean, look at this. He's like on a Sunday cruise, nice and smooth, nothing out of control, and this car is on rails. As we are past a quarter way in this race, and Brandon Bolton has to start to be sweating here. He sees the 45 machine growing ever so closer in that rearview mirror, now down to 4/10 for the race lead. As throughout the field, everyone kind of single filing out here at the moment. Only car out of tonight's race is the 1 car of Tanner Tallarico. Eric Lake, though, getting dangerously close to being a lap down. But now the battle for the race lead. A car length between the race leaders, as Bolton trying to figure out what is making Zach Nichols so quick. Bolton checking out the rear view, trying to take away his line, but Zach Nichols has that car hooked up, and he's challenging for the race lead. He'll start sniffing that left rear quarter panel. As Bolton trying some different lines, he'll try his semi-slider line. He'll enter about middle of the corner, slide on up to the top side where it's tacky, and he's kind of making it work, but Zach Nichols keeping his foot in it on his top side, keeping the momentum. As Zach Nichols ripping the cushion so well. Bolton in the wall in 1 and 2. This opens up the door more and more for Nichols as he is hooked up on this cushion. He is doing everything right here. As it looks like the X5 of Eric Lake down low, he will go a lap down, keep it out of the leader's way, so we appreciate that from our lap traffic as we continue to keep an eye on this battle for the race lead, as Nichols all over the back bumper now goes to the inside. Side-by-side battle for the race lead here off of turn number 2. Nichols finding out how tough this inside line is, not able to make anything work here at the moment, so he's going to try and retry again here as he once again starts to close on our race leader. Slight battles going on throughout the field right around the 6th position, the 9th position, and it looks like the 17th position, all doing battles here at the moment, but we got to keep our eye on this battle for the race lead here coming to lap 40 of 100. 4/10 of the way done here tonight as we get a yellow flag here for the 6th time we got to figure out where on track it was. I believe it might have involved the double OH machine of Tanner Hutchins. He's facing the wrong way on the speedway here, so we're going to try and figure out what happened to Tanner Hutchins as we take a look down the backstretch. Tanner Hutchins is in the wall by himself. The guys behind him coming with a big head of steam, and holy smokes, folks, that is a hard hit for the 18 machine of Trevor Landrum. He goes on a wild ride, and that had to hurt. I think he's bringing that thing pit side as we take a look right on board with Trevor Landrum. He sees Tanner Hutchins get loose, maybe make contact with Blake Steele, as that's very hard to call, and then that car gets launched very hard. A vicious hit for these drivers as we try and take a look one more time as Tanner Hutchins just, in the wall down the backstretch. That slows him up enough, and a little bit of neck code, I think, to send that car like that. And then, man, 2 cars go flying. Cade Gailey also involved with this, a hard hit to the outside wall for that bright red 27 machine, as, man, some big time hits under our 6th yellow flag of the night. So it looks like our wave around car this time is the X5 machine of Eric Lake, currently up into, I believe, the 17th position. So Eric Lake getting the lucky dog here, getting back on the lead lap, just going a lap down right before this 6th yellow flag flew here tonight. So Eric Lake will find himself back up on the lead lap here as Brandon Bolton will lead us back to green here, but as a very fast, very hungry Zach Nichols back up into P number 2. As it looks like Zach Nichols will elect this top side. That moves Brandon Marlowe down into 3rd as the rest of the field gets double fouled on up and gets ready to go back. Green flag racing here as Brandon Bolton once again leading us to green flag. Has led every lap so far, but this could change a lot as Bolton jumps on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action here at Eldora as Marlowe will try and slide Nichols for that 2nd position. Nichols has that thing hooked up top and has a big run now down the backstretch. Side by side for P number 2 here at the moment. Zach Nichols will reclaim that and set his sights for that race lead. One driver wanting to see that yellow is that 13T of Trevor Manley. He's back up in this mix. He's got Marlowe and Laster, 2 very good buddies, fellow racers. All 3 of them raced the whole season last time. Raced door to door just like this throughout the season and picking up right where they left off. Up front, though, trying to battle for the race lead as Nichols doesn't quite get it done. Now Mattingly tries, not quite able to get anything done there. Has Blake Steele, though, right on his back bumper as well. As further on back, a few cars trying to make this inside work here at the back. The first one being Clay Atwood in the 111 Hot Lap Heroes machine. He's trying to make something work, but up front, sliders for the race lead. Zach Nichols tries to get it done, gets a big piece of the wall off of turn number 2. That opens back up the door for Brandon Bolton, for the race lead. So Nichols tried it there once, learned a lot. We'll try again here, probably in a few laps. As you can tell there with our camera 1 and 2, this cushion ever so growing. Very large cushion up top now, and a lot of drivers using that here tonight at Eldora. As we take a look 3 wide further on back, Clay Atwood, Michael Guerin, and Joseph Grandy making it 3 wide here for that 10th position. Michael Guerin at the moment tied with Blake Steele for the biggest mover at the moment. Both of those drivers up 11 positions, so they're looking pretty sporty as now Nichols losing a little bit of ground to Bolton. You gotta wonder, how did that wall hit off of turn number 2 affect that 45 machine? Because now he's falling into the grasp of Marlowe as Trevor Manley tried to make the slider work on Laster. Not going to do it though, as he will slap back in to the 5th position. And the last car in that 6-car breakaway is Blake Steele, trying to hang on, wait for a mistake like he said before this main event of the cars in front of him. 3 wide further back, Cam Tucker gets hit by Stephen Hoffman. Tucker somehow hangs on to it behind them, 3 wide as well. That is once again alone now. Guerin and Grady all 3 wide here at the Speedway. Aaron Kirby finally putting together a race where he can be proud of in this 91 machine, up into 7th, looking for more. Cam Tucker trying to rebound here late in this race, as last time by we saw cross flags on the Speedway, folks. Halfway down, halfway home in tonight's race. As up front, the top 6 kind of single filed on out. They're running their own line, but we take a look towards the mid-pack to see some side-by-side racing action. Michael Guerin and Clay Atwood doing battle. Atwood down low. Guerin trying to make this middle line work. Once again, 3 wide racing action as Alone slowed down the front stretch, got a piece of the wall off at turn number 4. So that will put Guerin in this middle sandwich here. And you can see, folks, how wide this track is getting. This middle park in very slicked off here as we now pass halfway. I mean, 1 and 2, there is absolutely no traction in this middle part, but drivers still trying to make it work. As once again, for the 7th position, these drivers can't get away from each other, as they have once again caught Aaron Kirby and still doing battle. That is Hoffman down low, Cam Tucker up top. Top 6 still running single file here at the moment for lap number 57. We now look at the battle for 7th on the Speedway. That going to Kirby in the 91 down low, Tucker in 8th, now trying to go for 7th, and Stephen Hoffman in 9th at the moment. So Tucker finding the momentum up top. It looks like he might take away this 7th position from Aaron Kirby. And down the back stretch they come, Cam Tucker, new P number 7. We'll see if he can pull away from these drivers. Is now Stephen Hoffman making that middle slick work. He's to the door now of Aaron Kirby. One car making his way back through the field. He found himself on pit road, at least under one of these yellow flags. That is Dave Payne in the 38 machine. He's trying to make his way back through the field, and so far kind of doing it. One car with a tough break here tonight is the 3M machine of Bobby Manley. You see how damaged that right side of that car is. He involved in that big one here tonight. That car coming up in front of the field, and big time door hit to that 3M. That car not driving the way he wanted. As one car stopped here, and that will bring out the yellow flag. I believe that's the double OH machine of Tanner Hutchins. So that will bring out our 7th yellow here tonight. As we try and figure out what happened to Tanner Hutchins to bring out this recent yellow flag. I believe he was just slow on the speedway, about to go a lap down, so that is the reason for our 7th yellow here tonight on lap number 62. As it looks like Trevor Landrum does get the wave round. He will go back on the lead lap here, as Brandon Bolton has the most laps led here tonight. He has led every single lap so far, as Zach Nichols tried his all to get around him, but not quite enough before. We'll see what he has for him after this restart. Nichols almost has to force Bolton into a big mistake, get a piece of that wall, because I think Bolton has the cleanest car out here, and that does make a difference for some reason on the dirt. I know it doesn't make sense in real life, but here on iRacing, they definitely have their own rules. And it looks like on the front stretch, Zach Nichols will elect the top side. That moves Brandon Marlowe once again to this inside line, as the rest of the field will double file on up and get ready to try and go green flag racing here in the second half of this Horsepower Happenings 100 at the Eldora Motor Speedway. Looks like we have 19 cars still on the racing surface, as Brandon Bolin once again off of turn number 4 leads the field to a crawl. He'll jump on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing action off of turn number 4. Once again, side by side for that second position. Marlowe on the door of Nichols. Now Trevor Manley trying to find some grip all the way down on the low side. Marlowe able to slide up in front of his teammate of Jacob Laster. Laster into the back of Mattingly, and then Blake Steele into the back of him, so not sure what's going on there, but now 3 wide racing action as some big time checkups from 4th on back. These guys trying to make it work, as the big losers out of that was Laster and Blake Steele. They find themselves though in front of this pack, but now contact further on back as Grady gets a piece of the back bumper of Hoffman. He loses handful of spots, now 3 wide once again here in turns number 3 and 4. Grady in that 518 machine to the back bumper of the 23 down the backstretch, and he loses, I want to say, 5 spots. Now Alone and Kirby leaning on each other down the backstretch. So Aaron Kirby going in the wrong direction in this one. He's getting beat up. He's going to be a very frustrated driver in that 91 machine, as once again 3 wide racing action here at the Eldora Speedway. As more contact between the 69 and 91. These guys not giving each other any more room, as the 69 now goes around Clay Atwood up and over down the backstretch. And we saw that one brewing for a while, and it finally came to a head, but not between the 69 and 91. That was the 69 and the 111, bringing out this most recent yellow. As we take a look here, the 69 of Alone, a little bit slower, trying to get on the power and the slick stuff, and Clay Atwood not realizing the closing rate, just gets in the back bumper, and it looks like Grady sending that 111 machine up and over on his lid. He will end up there, and I think Clay Atwood did claim that yellow very quickly, so got to appreciate that, as he said, yeah, that was definitely my bad. So as we are on now lap 68 of 100 here tonight at the Eldora Speedway. Top 5 looking like the following: Brandon Bolton leading the way, Zach Nichols in second, Brandon Marlowe in third, Trevor Manley back up into fourth, with Jacob Laster rounding out the top 5. And folks, get those TVs ready to crank on up, because once we go back green flag racing action, hopefully I don't jinx it. I've been on a streak of jinxing it. We're going to try and do some turn 3, turn it up. So get ready to crank up the sounds on those TVs, monitors, whatever you're listening on, because I'm going to let the cars do the talking here in these first couple laps on this restart. As right now, biggest mover at the moment still, once again, is this 11 car. He won the B main. He's the biggest mover. He's up to 6th. That is the 11 of Blake Steele. As we now get the Delaware double file restart, rocking and rolling. Bolton out in front. Nichols once again, Alexis topside. That's once again Brandon Marlowe down low. Very familiar sight for these drivers as they try and go back green flag racing action. And folks, get ready for some turn 3, turn it up here once we get the green flag. Well, we'll give them a lap here, folks, before we rock and roll with it, just in case. As off of turn number 4, Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal here. We go back, green flag, racing action as Zach Nichols gets a great start on that top lane. He has the advantage over Marlowe down into turn number 1. These guys side by side and making it work here as the field tries to figure out. Now Marlowe in the middle as Trevor Manley gets the advantage up top as we now head down to the turn 3, turn it up. We gotta go back up front, folks, because sliders for the race lead. Zach Nichols throwing 1 and 1 and 2. Now Brandon Bolton throws one back in 3 and 4. And here comes some more. Zach Nichols on the attack here late in this race. Entering the final quarter of this race, Brandon Bolton, Zach Nichols, slide job city for the race lead here at Eldora. Zach Nichols getting this car wound up in 3 and 4. Bolton had a nice run. Nichols will fall in line in 1 and 2 here. That opens up the door for Trevor Manley to try something down low, but not too much down there at the moment. Here in 3 and 4, Zach Nichols with the slider for the race lead. Now Bolton will cut that thing left as Nichols gets a piece of the wall. That will hurt his run off the front stretch there. So Nichols going to have to spend some time to regain as he gets the wall once again. This could open up the door for Marlowe and maybe even Mattingly. As Nichols needs to now just take a deep breath for a second, recollect himself and try and reel back in this race leader here. And next time by at the start finish line, we will see 25 laps to go here around this Eldora Speedway. This 100 lapper being the double distance of our normal scheduled program. The only other 100 lapper we get to look forward to after tonight is of course our season finale, as Trevor Manley almost, I think he got some help from the back bumper of Laster, as maybe it was even Marlowe's. Marlowe now slots back to the 5th position as one car, big time hit I thought I heard, or maybe one car blew on up there. As we take a look from high up on the field, and yeah, one car is slow, I believe. Yeah, the 18 machine did have a motor expire there. We saw him coming down pits quite a few times trying to get that damage repaired. We saw that vicious hit he took and that motor finally expiring on that 18 machine. Trevor Landrum's night is over. So that will bring us under our 9th yellow here tonight, just inside of 25 laps to go. And this is what Zach Nichols needs. Nichols very good on these restarts to give Bolton a run for his money on these restarts. As here in the closing stages of tonight's race, we get another Delaware double file restart. Zach Nichols elects the top side. Now that moves Trevor Mattingly up into the 2nd row. He will restart in the 3rd position. Bolton leading every single lap so far out in front. Excuse me, not every lap, as now Zach Nichols adds his name to the lap leaders here tonight. That's Brandon Bolton. Most laps led in that 124 machine. He's trying to get the job done here in this final quarter of racing action here at Eldora. Off of turn number 4, the field will come. Brandon Bolton leads us back to green flag. He'll dive it in the top lane. Zach Nichols falls right in the tire tracks. Trevor Manley trying to figure out something down low. He stays committed to this inside middle, very big slider line, almost to the left rear of Zach Nichols for second. Now Jacob Laster had the big run from the high side in 3 and 4. He will now slap it to the top side as we get a yellow flag here on the speedway. I believe the 3M machine up and over here in 1 and 2. As we got to take a look here, see what caused that 3M machine of Bobby Manley to end up on his lid. We take a look at the field here through 1 and 2. So maybe it was 3 and 4, excuse me, folks. As we see the field, sorry, it was 1 and 2. As we see the field head down the front stretch, and just slight contact between the 3M and the X5, and Eric Lake going up and over for a wild ride. I tell you what, that was a wild one for Eric Lake, who ends up on his lid as well. We'll take a look here one more time at the replay. Maybe ride on board with Eric Lake from that rear deck lid and see what he saw. Eric Lake a little squirrely off of turn number 4. He has a lot of pressure from behind. You see the 518 and 69, and of course the 3, and just slight contact. They get stuck together, and then Eric Lake on a wild ride here. He climbs up on the fence and up and over he goes for a wild flip here at the Eldora Speedway, and we lose a GoPro camera on that X5 machine. As we give some time for those flip cars to try and get back on out there, we are under pacing here for the 10th time here tonight here on lap 22. Well, sorry. 78. We have 22 to go, folks. Alrighty, folks, we get ready to re-rack, restack them. Once again, Nichols, Alexis, outside lane. Now that moves Jacob Lassiter in the 151 and third, and it seems like that third position, a revolving door here. They seem like they get stuck on this inside line and then drop straight to the back, as we'll see if Lassiter can figure out something in this 151 in that third position. As Brandon Bolton in command of the field for the 10th time here tonight. Off at turn number 4. Bolton on the loud pedal. The rest of the field follows. We go back, green flag racing action. Bolton jumps to his top lane. Once again, Nichols in his tire tracks down low. Jacob Lassiter trying to figure out something. He's trying to bring along Brandon Marlowe as well. As we look around mid-pack here at the 3 wide racing action that go to 2. And then by the time they get back in the corner, back 3 wide. As one car slow in the corner, that is Clay Atwood. But up front, Brandon Bolton leading the way. Now Zach Nichols leading the top lane over Trevor Mattingly. And Nichols into the back. Trevor Mattingly in the back of Nichols. Then Nichols and Mattingly continue to go at it. These guys won't get off each other. And with this contact between the two, they go from 2nd and 3rd all the way back to 9th and 10th. So that kind of heated battle between each other, doing each other no favors by the end of that one. Both them falling back in the mid-pack here, as that moves now Jacob Laster up into 2nd, Brandon Marlowe in 3rd, as those drivers going to be not very happy with each other by the end of this one. Of course, they're the 2 cars right next to each other, as Zach Nichols now trying to find some more speed to get around these cars. Now has Ron Hart in front of him, as everyone's single filed out here on the top lane. Only car making the inside work up front is Zach Nichols. Now Stephen Hoffman going for a slider on Cam Tucker. This is the battle for 5th, so this is some money as we enter the closing stages of tonight's race. Cam Tucker trying to make that high line work. Stephen Hoffman running about a car length off, as now Zach Nichols coming back up through the field. He gets around Ron Hart. Now sets the sights as Hoffman and Trevor Manley in there as well. Manley and Hoffman door bank some more. Trevor Manley with a big slider on Hoffman. Hoffman keeping that 13T very low. Now Hoffman will probably give a slider again as Brandon Marlowe and Blake Steele now throw sliders. One car goes around. That is the 13T of Trevor Mattingly. He ends up and over, but ends up on his wheels as man, we got to take a look here, see what happened between these two as Trevor Mattingly goes for the crossover. And Zach Nichols gets in the back bumper of Trevor Mattingly. Ron Hart, wrong place, wrong time, gets hard into the door of Trevor Mattingly. That spins him on around facing the wrong direction. And I think that yellow was brewing for a while between those two. And it finally coming to a head there that time. As we take a look at the door bars from Trevor Mattingly, and you see very slight contact is enough to lift these rear tires off the car, and around they go. So we now fall under our 11th yellow here tonight at the Eldora Speedway for the Horsepower Happenings 100. Brandon Bolin leading the way. He has led the most laps. He now has Jacob Laster in second. Brandon Marlowe in third. Blake Steele, I mean, I don't like to say I rub a crystal ball or anything, folks, but if there's one thing I can almost guarantee, if he's has a decent race car under him by the end of it, not too damaged, Blake Steele once again up in the top 5. He finds himself in 4th, and Cam Tucker, for all the Tucker fans out there, he finds himself in P number 5. He's in the money, but they got a very fast number 45 machine of Zach Nichols. He's going to be driving very hard to this front of this pack. He will start in the 7th position. Off at turn number 4, Bolton. Once again, he jumps on the throttle. We go back, green flag racing action here on Eldora. We extinguish our 11th yellow of the night. Brandon Marlowe trying to roll this inside line. Laster rolling up top. They go side by side for second as Blake Steele able to hang on to 4th. Cam Tucker slots into 5th. Further on back, 3 wide race action. Bobby Manley with a heavy. One car goes around. That is Blake Steele. He goes up and over. We ride on board with him to the end of that one. And that one looked like a wild ride as Blake Steele stuck on the wall. And as that is a bummer there. I was just saying how good Blake Steele was doing. Find himself in the top 5 as Blake Steele might lose that streak here tonight with a late race incident here. But we try and take a look, see what happened here in turns number 1 and 2. Blake Steele with a big run on Brandon Marlowe. Tries to go to the top side. Marlowe, I don't think realized Blake Steele was there. Steele goes evasive maneuvers, puts it up against the fence, and then Cam Tucker, hard hit to that car. And one car coming in very late. That is Clay Atwood coming in to give Blake Steele a big shot to that door. Hopefully Blake Steele's all right after those hard hits. As we now go try and ride on board with the 53 machine, see how bad of damage Cam Tucker got as that shot his car right down low. Aaron Kirby gets a piece of him. That spins Tucker almost around in front of the field as everyone else has to make evasive maneuvers, but a hard hit for Blake Steele, and that might be the end of his night here with 12 laps to go. Speaking about 12s, we are under our 12th yellow here tonight at Eldora. You know, we kind of had a flurry of cautions together. About lap 10 to 20, we had quite a few. Now in this late race, we're having a lot more as old Darrell Walsh says, cautions breed cautions as we get the field re-racked, restacked, and I believe we might be trying to go back green flag racing action. As I don't see any lights on the speedway, so As, yeah, we won't get the 1 to go this time, but excuse me, we're not under the 1 to go right now, but this time by, we'll get the 1 to go here and try and go back green flag racing action, as I believe Blake Steele does make it back out on the racing surface here in that very beat up number 11 machine with Blake Steele in the back like he is. That moves now Stephen Hoffman and Michael Guerin, both tied for the biggest mover, both up 9 positions. So we'll have to see how this works on out. As geez, I guess we extended another lap. Race officials say, lineup's not quite right. But after this, we will get still lights on that wheel and sign there's folks. So we will stay under the yellow flag as I believe we get everything trying to get situated, as it sounds like maybe some post yellow curriculars going on the speedway that might be having to take a look at here. As we get ready to go green flag race in action, we get them all bunched down up, and not quite everyone was ready to go, but they had me fooled, folks. They had me thinking that they were about to go green as everyone started to get rolling, but now the lights are extinguished on the speedway. We get ready to go green flag race in action next time by. As you can see there with our cushion cam, how full it is, and over half the camera filled on up with dirt, as these guys have been packing this high side all race long. Off of turn number 4, Brandon Bolton on the loud pedal. We go green flag racing, hot lap heroes, second row. Jacob Laster, Brandon Marlowe side by side. Laster up top trying to roll at Cam Tucker. How damaged is that 53 car? He made heavy contact. Now 3 wide, Zach Nichols rolling this inside line. Yeah, Stephen Hoffman and Cam Tucker up top as he will try and clear. Not quite. Stephen Hoffman in the wall. Cam Tucker up on the wall. He will get bounced around. They go 4 wide. Somehow these guys keep it straight, but Cam Tucker goes from 5th all the way back to 13th. So Tucker not going to be happy with that one, as that started with contact between the 45 and 23. Inside of single-digit laps to go. Where has this guy come from? He finds himself in the top 5. That is Dave Payne and the 38 ASRC machine. I mean, I don't know where he came from, but Dave Payne right now in the money. He currently has the $5, but he is under fire from that 91 machine of Aaron Kirby up front. Jacob Laster to the race lead. Jacob Laster, Brandon Bolton doing slide jobs with each other. Laster gets a big piece of the wall. That will slow him on up. Brandon Bolton will give it on back here in 3 and 4. Now, 1 and 2. Now in 3 and 4, Jacob Laster right on the quarter panel. Bolton tries to take away the slider line. Bolton will slide on up, and Bolton will have the advantage. Took the slider line away from Laster. So battle for the race lead here with inside 5 laps to go as these guys doing it on up. And Zach Nichols, once again, he has caught the back bumper of Brandon Marlowe. So this race is far from over. This time by, we see an open palm from the flagman. 5 laps to go for these racers. Aaron Kirby able to get around Dave Payne up top, bringing Stephen Hoffman with him. So Payne now down to 7th. Kirby 5th, Hoffman 6th, as now side by side for P number 3 here. Brandon Marlowe, Zach Nichols doing battle. Marlowe into the wall in 1 and 2. This could open up the door for Nichols for a slide job here in 3 and 4. Nichols won't quite throw one. He's trying to run the middle lane if he can, but it won't quite be enough. Jacob Laster once again on the back bumper of our race leader here with 3 laps to go. We're keeping an eye on this battle as Aaron Kirby, Stephen Hoffman doing battle for the final money spot, but we got to keep an eye for this race lead. Popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go for these drivers. About a car length between Bolton and Laster here, as they have now 1.5 laps as we get a yellow flag here, folks. This will throw a loop in everything, as we'll try and figure out who was involved in this one. Looks like Ron Hart slow on the speedway. We'll try and see what happened to the 51 of Ron Hart. Looks like a slider on Dave Payton, not quite clear. Him and Payton make hard contact, and Ron Hart gets hit by Nicholas alone. And that will send the 51 almost up and over on the side, but he'll end up on all fours. So contact off the corner between Ron Hart and Dave Payton. We take a look here, and it looks like Ron tries to throw the slider, comes up on Dave at the very last second. Payton having no time to react. You saw him working the wheel, thought high, then had to cut it low at the last second, and they just met right in the middle, and that sends the 51 car up and around for our 13th yellow here, and it will probably be, by the end of this one, folks, a good old green-white checkered to end the Horsepower Happenings 100 here at the Eldora Speedway. As this will be a single file restart inside of 10 laps to go. iRacing mandates that it's single file, so these drivers gonna have one shot to do it. I'm gonna go to probably the very far TV4 cam to try and catch as much action as I can, but Jacob Laster is gonna have to get the jump of his life in that 51 machine, and it's pretty much gonna be one move on the white flag lap, probably in turns number 3 and 4, if Laster has anything for Bolin. Bolin doesn't seem to have the restart pace like the other cars. It seemed like Nichols always was on top of it on the restarts. We'll see what Laster can do. Off through 3 and 4, the field will come. Bolin on the loud pedal here early. He's trying to drive away from Laster, as they will see popsicle sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go. Bolin gets a piece of the 1, and 2. This will open up the door for Laster. Laster with a big run down the backstretch. He'll go to the top side. Bolin will throw the slider line. He'll go up to the cushion for the corner exit. White flag here. Laster right on the back bumper. Jacob Laster going to have one shot to get the job done, and it's going to be right here down the backstretch for the final time. Jacob Laster goes up top. Bolin goes to the middle. Laster's hoping for Bolin some sort of mistake, but off of turn number 4, Brandon Bolin picks up the win for the Horsepower Happenings 100. Jacob Laster is second, Brandon Marlowe third, Zach Nichols rallies back to a 4th, and Stephen Hoffman to P number 5. And Stephen Hoffman out here on the speedway, he picks up some points, some money, and he's the biggest mover of tonight's race. The 23 machine of Stephen Hoffman picks up 11 spots from where he started, as we get, of course, the fireworks going out on the speedway here, folks, for our race winner down on the front stretch. You see the fireworks going on off Brandon Bolin down in victory lane. He's celebrating it with a victory lap out here, folks. He's getting ready to burn down the place as Brandon Bolin brings it down to victory lane on the front stretch to celebrate tonight's win. Brandon Bolin picking up his first win of the season here for race number 3 at Eldora. He's stopping on the scales. He'll pull it up to the podium up on the front stretch. As don't go anywhere, folks, because after this commercial break, we'll be back to talk to our top 3, but that is them right there on the front stretch, folks, as we'll be talking to all of them here in a second. Don't go anywhere. Alrighty, folks, we come back to you here at the Eldora Speedway, and we dial up our 3rd place finisher. He did it in race number 1 at Volusia, and he heads back to the podium here for race number 3. It is the 37 machine of Brandon Marlowe. Brandon, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet here in the booth.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Alrighty, Brandon. That seemed like a very long race. Tell us how that race was inside that 37 machine here tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a long race for sure. Just trying to, race the track more than the cars, and that's, it's the hardest part here at Eldora. Once it gets, one lane locked down, it makes it for a long race.
Yeah, it does, Brandon. It seemed like a flurry of yellows, coming up in groups, and you somehow keep that car clean. I don't think you're involved in any of the yellows. I mean, that takes a lot of skill with the 13 we had tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It just luck more than anything when it comes down to it. But yeah, it was a mess for sure. Just happy to just try to minimize mistakes, keep the car out of the wall, and just maintain track position.
Yeah, and speaking about that track, Brandon, that track had to change a lot here tonight. 100 laps of 22 cars here on the surface. It seemed like everyone just kept on moving on up. People tried the inside, but it didn't seem like much was there.
The inside was good, just on the first lap or two, before the top really got its momentum going, you could kind of maintain. But after that, you definitely had to find a spot in line and, try to hope someone made a mistake or, set up a slider or something along those lines.
Yeah, and I tell you what, luckily you having your teammate Jacob Laster starting alongside you. I think those last handful of restarts, that had to help a lot with you and him. Probably chatting with each other, making sure you guys kept it clean and straight in front of the field.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We were definitely just trying to, watch out and take care of each other there towards the end, not wanting to pull anything crazy and take ourselves out.
Yeah, that is definitely the name of the game. We saw a lot of people's nights go from good to bad in those last couple laps. And Brandon, you're not one of them. You find yourself in P number 3, just like you did at Volusia last week at, where were we at last week? Didn't have the night you wanted. You come back, rebound back on the podium. That's got to feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anytime you can end the night on the podium, especially a 100-lap race like this, it always feels good.
Yeah, I bet it does. You earned your spot here on the podium tonight. A long 100-lap race. Brandon, before we let you go and celebrate this podium spot, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on this 37 crew.
First off, I just want to, give a shout out to Tim and his family, thinking about them right now. Got to give a shout out to all the teammates at Hot Lap Hero, 789 Designs for the wrap on the car, everybody with ASRC for putting this league on, Turn 3 for always doing an awesome broadcast. Got to thank my wife for taking care of the little one and letting me come in here and spend this time to race with these guys, and always a shout out to my biggest fan, my daughter Addison.
Alrighty, awesome stuff, Brandon. You keep on the good streak from here on out, and you have yourself a great rest of the night, Brandon. We'll catch you later.
Thank you. You too.
Alrighty, we now head down to the runner-up of tonight. It is Jacob Laster in the 151. Jacob, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet here in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, Jacob. First, we'll start with tonight's race. Man, it seemed like a race of attrition. 100 laps. That was a long one. How was it in the car?
I mean, it wasn't the funnest for sure. As typical Eldora racing. I was talking to the team about coming here last week after that last race ended, and somehow or another, it's like you have a good finish here, but it's like you follow each other. I don't know. It's like the craziest place I've ever seen, where it's like you have photo finishes, you have close finishes, but yet it doesn't seem like you pass anybody.
Yeah, it's very almost kind of super speedway like, Jacob. You kind of follow in the tracks of the guy in front of you, and build up that momentum and hope they make a mistake at some point. And you and Brandon trying to throw sliders there at the end, but that last yellow coming out and just not enough laps to get it done. Was that the case?
Yeah, man, it's hard to pass for sure. I had one opportunity at him. He made one mistake, and I screwed up the slider. I think if I'd have hit the slider, we could have been about even, but I screwed the slider up. I just ain't never been really any good at throwing a slider, and it's frustrating because once you screw up the slider, you lose 2 or 3 car lengths, and you got to try to gain it back. But he drove a good race, and for sure wasn't going to try to do anything crazy to take it away from him because he was up there the whole time battling his car and everything.
Yeah, he was. He did seem like the class field, quick in qualifying and then putting on a show here for the feature, defending that from Nichols and you by the end of it. And Jacob, we got to look kind of at the big picture here. 3 podiums in a row, Jacob. I mean, that is very impressive, especially with the shotgun rule this year and whatnot, to be on the podium all 3 races. I mean, what is making you so consistent at all 3 very different tracks we went to so far?
Just trying to stay as clean as possible, man. I think me and Nicholas got into it early in the race, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go back and look and see what happened. I didn't speak up and claim it because we were racing hard, and kind of felt like it was a racing deal at the time. But I'm gonna go back and look, and if it was on me, I'm gonna talk to Zach for sure because I try not to be like that. But yeah, man, just it's a product of racing here, and we didn't start the greatest, and we haven't started the greatest the last 3 weeks, but somehow or another we just try to stay clean and just try to pick our spots.
Yep, and that you do a great job at, Jacob. Like you said, starting deep in the field, it seems like most nights, but by the end of it, somehow up in the podium. You come in tonight 5 points behind Trevor Manley. I think with this finish, you might be walking out of here the points leader, and that's got to feel pretty good. You were the inaugural champion way back in the day of the pro late models. Now to come back with it with these type of group, got to be very impressive and pretty proud.
Oh, for sure, man. We're trying to stay towards the front, to have a shot at the end. But like I said, it's really early. We don't really look at the points until it kind of comes down to it. But I know that the shotgun rule this year kind of mixed things up, and I definitely think it's going to make for a wild points chase. And Trevor is, he had bad luck tonight, and like I said, man, it happens quick, and when it does, it's it can humble you pretty quick. So, he had some bad luck tonight, but he was right there with us, and probably would have been there at the end if his stuff hadn't happened to him. So, for sure, man, we just got to try to stay consistent. Just try to keep plugging away at it.
And staying consistent is the key. And Jacob, you doing just that. Talking to you for 3 weeks in a row. This is starting to be. I might start reserving you a seat up here, Jacob, because it seems like a pretty common occurrence. So I know you're getting good at this, but we're going to do it again. I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 51 crew.
Just got to give a shout out to Team Hot Lap Heroes. Just about the full team was, say half the team was here tonight, but everybody was trying to make the show, and it was a tough field, and some of them just didn't have any luck go their way. So, but they were here to support us, man, and that means a lot as a team. And hats off to the guys that did make it. Hats off to Brandon on the podium, and I got to say a shout out to 789 Designs for the wrap on the car, Max Green, the Sud Shop, you guys for the broadcast, and I got to thank Zach and all the ones that put the league on, give us a place to race, and got to thank always the wife for taking care of the little one. Wasn't for her support, wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, but you always got to thank her. As Jacob, you have yourself a great rest of the night. Keep up these good runs, because I tell you what, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Have a good rest of your night.
Appreciate it.
Alrighty, folks. Now we head down to the podium out in front. We head down to the race winner tonight, that being Brandon Bolton in the 124 machine. Brandon, you got a copy of Breath of Jet here in the booth?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, man. Heck of a race by you. You come out here, qualify quick time, and then a long 100 laps. Definitely stressful. It wasn't a cakewalk for you. Tell us how that car was so quick, and how was your 100 lappers?
Oh yeah, man. It felt like it took forever. I'm actually a little bit under the weather. I didn't even think I was gonna race tonight, and woke up about 15 minutes before the race, and I said I'll give it a shot. And it felt like it took forever. I mean, I'm literally sweating. I don't. I hate racing like that, but I mean, it is what it is. It was a good race. It was really clean. Uh, Jacob, I think everybody raced real good. I mean, there could have been some real stupid stuff thrown, and I mean, everybody was respectful, and it was just a good race all around.
Yeah, it was, Brandon. By the end of it, I think you had the cleanest car on track, keeping that 124 machine clean, keeping it off the wall, and of course, most importantly, keeping it off the other cars. And you walk away with the win. First win of the season, first win of ASRC. I mean, that's got to mean a lot for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't even know about this league until Stephen Hoffman told me, and I missed the first week because I just got busy and forgot about it, and sucked last week. And I mean, here we are this week. I don't know. I might have to talk to him about the points deal. I don't know if I still have a shot at it or just try to just get as many checks and wins as we can.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to go for. Is Brandon, you're very quick here, and I tell you what, you know let's say the caliber of competition here in this league, and it is very impressive. And for you to come out here win tonight, I mean, that shows off the skill sets of you. I mean, what makes you so quick? You got to have some real life racing background to you.
Believe it or not, I don't. I crew for my best friend on his crate late model. I work on my father-in-law and brother-in-law's modifieds in real life. I mean, I've never actually sat behind the wheel of a race car, but this is my outlet.
There you go. Well, Brandon, hopefully you get the chance at some point, because you definitely showed the skills off tonight. If anyone needs maybe take a look at a resume, just show them this race and show them what you can do. Because Brandon, it was impressive to see you, especially that quick time, and then of course you holding your own, and you had a lot of pressure behind you. I mean, they did not make it easy for you. How was it seeing Nichols catching you, and then late in that race, Lassiter with that battle?
Oh yeah, for sure. That Nichols, I've never, I don't think I've ever raced with him, but I mean, all the respect to him. He ran really clean. I mean, we were throwing sliders, and I almost got him one time, but I think he bounced off the fence. So I mean, I turned it left as fast as I could. I don't think we hit. But then like Bobby Mattingly, I've known that name for a while. Trevor, I don't know if they're brothers or cousins, but them two are always fast. My teammate Trevor Landrum was fast early. Had some bad luck. I mean, there's some good guys in here. It's a good clean league.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, we had, a handful of cautions here tonight, but that was because it's a 100-lapper. And, of course, it's Eldora. I mean, things happen so quick here that it's inevitable to get the amount of cautions we kind of had tonight. But, Brandon, you come away with the check. You get $25 with the win and quick time. I think that bumped you up to at least 30. I mean, you got to feel pretty pumped up about that.
Oh, yeah. It'll make going to sleep a little bit easier tonight.
That it will. And to make it even better, you add yourself to the illustrious names of an ASRC winner, and of course doing it in the tough competition of the dirt. Brandon, I gotta ask, the viewers tuning on and sticking us throughout with our late race, post race interviews. I mean, what's your setup like? What could maybe someone think about getting to make them fast as you?
I mean, my computer I built when the dirt came out. I mean, dirt came out like a month, and we built this computer. I think $1,500 I got in it. I got like a $200 Dell monitor, but on the wheel is where I spent my money. It's a Fanatec CSL Elite, and I mean, I've raced a lot of different wheels, my buddy's wheels. This Fanatec is just amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I need to get new pedals though.
Yeah,
the pedals are shot.
yeah, especially if you do a lot of pavement racing, load cell pedals are the way to go. I tell you what, I love my Fanatec V3s, but yeah, that CSL wheel, I've heard a lot of good things. So another good representation there. You showing it off tonight, parking it down in victory lane, Brandon. Once again, huge congratulations from everyone at ASRC and Turn 3 Racing Network. But before we let you go and celebrate it and hopefully get some rest and feel better, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank for this 124 team.
Oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. Seam setups, Craig Schwartz. I mean, I know this is a fixed deal, but I mean, Craig's a bad dude, and we're just, I guess you could say a little team, but we're gonna try the VLR stuff and all that, and see how we can do. Carthage Auto Parts, ML Midwest, Burgess Motorsports Consulting, G&G Express, G&G Photography, and just all my guys, Stephen Hoffman, Trevor Landrum, Nick, Alone. We're all helping each other out tonight, and even my buddy Steven got hard charger and got a little money in his pocket, so that's awesome to see.
Yeah, these teams, building up a lot of good foundation with them. We have 3 very strong teams, and I hope we make it some more. As Brandon, You have yourself a great rest of the night. And once again, huge congratulations on tonight's win.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man.
Alrighty, folks, that will do it for post-race interviews. That is our winner of the Horsepower Happenings 100 here at Eldora Motor Speedway. Now we'll run on over to our post-race results and start getting things wrapped on up. Brandon Bolton in the 124 machine picks up the HPH 100 win. Jacob Laster on the podium again. He will finish runner-up. Brandon Marlowe in the 37 machine will finish third. Zach Nichols, very quick in that 45 machine, will finish fourth. Stephen Hoffman in the 23 will finish fifth and be tonight's biggest mover. Aaron Kirby in the 91 machine finally gets the results he is probably a little bit more happy with. He will finish in sixth. Seventh will go to our points leader coming into tonight. That is Trevor Mattingly. Eighth will be Nicholas Alone in the 69. Ninth going to Bobby Mattingly in the 3. Dave Payton in the 38 machine rounds out the top 10. 11th going to Michael Guerin in the 78. 12th is Eric Lake in the X5. Chuck Darling in the 88 machine will finish 13th. Clay Atwood in the 111. 14th. Joseph Grandy in the 518 will finish 15th. Cam Tucker with a tough night here tonight will finish 16th. Ron Hart in the 51 will finish 17th. 18th going to Blake Steele in the 11. 19th, Trevor Landrum in the 18. Tanner Hutchins in the double H 20th. 21st is Cade Gailey, and rounding out tonight's main event is Tanner Tallarico in the 1. So we got to thank all you guys tuning on in here tonight to the Horsepower Happenings 100 at Eldora with the American Sim Racing Club Pro Late Model Series. Be sure to tune in next Sunday for us for the 75 lapper at Linear, actually in 2 weeks. Excuse me there, folks. 2 weeks, we'll catch y'all at Linear for 75 laps. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to tune into Turn 3 throughout the week as we got a lot of great streams. And, of course, be sure to tune in Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. for our Cup Series. That, of course, being off this week. But we'll be back on May 9th. And then, of course, our Scrambler Series this Wednesday. We go take on Sukaba, turning left and right in the street stocks. That's going to be a wild one. You'll find me out there on track. And then, of course, all the other broadcasters and leagues. Got to give a huge shout out to all the live viewers on in here. Had some great turnout. So appreciate you guys all tuning on in, coming on back. Appreciate all the replay viewers, all the drivers out here that made up the almost 30 car field to do battle here tonight for the Hot Horsepower Happenings 100. Also got to give a shout out to Hoffman Racing, Jordan, Steven, all in the YouTube chat lands, keeping me entertained. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew